that my customer is guilty, it is not enough, because there is not enough evidence to declare it like guilty. We can that's all.
Okay, thank you. That was really well done. There's a couple of things I really want to highlight from what you said, which was, I thought was really well done. So the prosecutor, I quite liked how you gave me some details about what happened. So they were in a pub, right? So you gave me some more details into the scenario of what happened, which I quite like. So going forward, anyone else, more details you can give me, the better. Great. So it just paints a picture for the judge, right? It's like a story. And so you told me about, told me what evidence you had. So the camera, right? And cameras, I've used cameras as evidence in a lot of trials, and it's good evidence, because I mean, it's hard to refute that when something has been captured in that way. One thing you did that no one else did as a prosecutor, and this is excellent. Like I said, your instincts are very, very good. So you were telling me about why Darrell should be punished, right? And as a prosecutor, we absolutely have to do that. And sometimes we say, well, we have to protect the society. Sometimes we have to, what you said, we have to teach Darrell that there's consequences to his actions. He just can't go, because he's angry, he can't go assaulting people. We just can't have that in our society. We need a peaceful society. You went into, wait, no, sorry, I made notes, but it's getting, oh, I thought it was interesting. You said community service with the elderly. Great suggestion, right? Like, you're thinking outside the box here. So I thought that was a really good suggestion. And if I was actually a judge, I would certainly consider that. And then, you know, because you want to teach him to be patient and things like that. So I really like some words that you used, some vocab that you used. That was really good. And yeah, that was great. And so then Madam Defense, equally well done. I mean, your instincts, again, it was great. So some of the things that I quite like that you did, you said, and you were the first one to do this. So in law, there's a few defenses that we can use. Actually, someone earlier, I meant to mention, someone brought up alcohol. I forget who that was, but that's excellent. As a defense lawyer, you want to bring that up, because when there's alcohol involved, that can be a partial defense, because of course, when we're drinking, our actions are inhibited, right? So, because sometimes when we're drinking, we don't act like we would if we were sober. So whoever said that earlier, I forget who it was, excellent job. But you also did that. So you brought up self-defense. Excellent job. Because yeah, for self-defense, that is an actual defense. So now you gave me lots of doubt now. I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe Darrell had to assault Felix to save himself from being injured. And so I'm going to give it to you, because that creates enough doubt now for me to say, oh, okay, I'm going to let this one go. I'm not going to convict Darrell, because he might have been defending himself against Felix. Excellent job, you guys.
Thank you, Jimena. The check is in the post.
Why not, Lisa? Now I'm getting disappointed.
I didn't do anything. Okay, next up we have Leah and Amparo. So roles are reversed. Amparo will be the defense, and Leah is the prosecution. So Leah, you can think of any scenario to get me into jail, or Felix. Over to you. Leah?
Sorry, ya, ahora sí. Ay, one moment. Can I the next?
Yeah, you're the prosecution.
Please. Ay, ay, ay.
Mhm.
I don't know what I say.
Yeah, think of something we are guilty of and we need to go to jail.
You can make up
Yes,
anything.
yes. I was running around the park with my pet, and when I talking by my phone, my dog disap disappear, desaparecer, yeah,
Yes.
disappear, and Daryl is uh, was in the same place, and when I back, no Daryl and don't my pet, because I think he robbed my pet.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Thank you so
No,
Okay.
that's great. Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. I'll hear from the defense.
Okay, Your Honor. I know that Darrell is an honorable person. I think we know that he is always a good neighbor, good student, good friend, and for that reason, he is not guilty. Darrell and Felix were friends, and I think he respects the friendship, and I think he is oh, I don't know, not guilty. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No,
Innocent. He is innocent.
that's right. Okay. Great job, you guys. What I really liked, I like that, Madam Prosecutor, you were very creative with the facts. That's great, right? So you're comfortable now making up a story, and it's one that I could, I think most people can relate to, you know? And so that was really, really good. So you told me, now you were kind of involved in it because it was your pet. So we kind of want to avoid, because you're the prosecutor, right? So you kind of want to say Felix pet or someone else besides you. So instead of saying my pet, or say Felix's pet, or someone else's, or my neighbor's pet, right? But that was excellent. That was great. And the defense, I think you should all be lawyers now. I think your instincts are really great. And so, again, you gave me character evidence of Daryl, right? So you say, look, he's an honorable person. He's a good neighbor. He's a good friend. And he's respectful of his friends. So that was really, really excellent. And I love the vocab that you used, especially honorable. Again, in Canada, we would spell it with that U in there. So that was excellent. However, I'm going to give it to Madam Prosecutor, because although you gave me character evidence, you didn't poke holes. You didn't give me doubt as to the story that I heard from the prosecutor. But you guys did an excellent job.
Okay, well done, Leah. You've won. I'm going to jail. Boom. Okay.
What is the verdict?
Okay, so next up with Mariana and Andrea. So Mariana, you'll be the prosecution, and Andrea is the defense. So Mariana, what do you have for us? You can create any scenario. What did I do, or what did Felix do?
Okay. I have a question. The victim is
So the victim
Felix.
is It can be anyone. You can make up your own story. So whoever, or it doesn't even have to be Darrell and Felix.
Okay.
It can maybe be some of your peers.
Okay. And my grandpa uh, is became for how say negligencia?
Evidencia?
Negligencia.
Negligence. Negligence.
Okay.
Good word.
Medic negligence because the Dr. Darrell inject
Ah.
when how say when drugs mistake drugs
Okay.
and my
Mistakenly injected drugs. Okay, good. Mistakenly injected drugs into a patient or into Felix.
for uh, for for how say um, anesthetic
Anesthesia.
Mhm.
anesthesia for my grandpa because
Anesthetic.
he is diabetic patient and I want how say demand I want demand the Dr. David because I possibly my grandfather did that did
Dead. Okay.
that that's all.
Okay, thank you, Madam Prosecutor.
Okay,
I'll hear from the
Andrea.
defense.
Andrea, your turn as the defense. You're fighting a negligence case against me. Andrea, you there? Okay, I think Andrea's not there. But Lisa, can you just give us feedback on Mariana?
Yeah.
What was she use?
Oh,
Okay.
well, first of all, I loved how creative you were with the facts. That's excellent. I was really, really impressed with your story because it was quite different from what we've been talking about. So that was excellent. So, and I just want to say, just so you know, that so there's criminal law, right? There's criminal court, and then there's civil law. So what you described, negligence, great term. That's an area of law. We also call it tort law, T-O-R-T, tort law. And that's where people sue each other, okay? So you gave the example that Darrell was a doctor and he injected an anesthetic into someone and it was fatal. The person died, right? So that is a medical malpractice. That's medical negligence. And so I have to say I loved your vocab and I loved how creative you were with the story. So great job.
Thank you.
Excellent, well done. Okay, next up we have Brian and Martin. So Brian, roles are reversed. So Brian, you're the prosecution. Create a scenario, can involve anyone. Martin, you will be the defense, okay?
Okay, sir. Good morning, Jude. I'm going to show you what is the situation. Well, a year ago, Mr. Darrell needs money. He had to pay the electricity, the water service, and anything else. Mr. Felix, he was his friend, and Mr. Felix lent to Mr. Darrell the money, but Mr. Darrell, until now, didn't pay didn't give back the money to Mr. Felix, and Mr. Anderson needs the money right now because he have a necessity. That's the case, Jit.
Okay, thank you. I'll hear from the defense.
Yeah, good afternoon, Judge. Again, it's an honor to be here. The testimony of my accused is totally opposite of this case. Today, I'm gonna prove that my accused is innocent because he had a treaty with Felix. He gave this money for a contract for a 1 month. Daryl gonna pay to this money to Felix, and then this contract is not finished yet.
Ah.
That's wrong. That's false.
Okay, counsel. I've actually had that happen where I've been in court and myself and the defense counsel actually get into an argument. And so the judge is very quick to tell us both to shut up and sit down. And or I've been actually taken back to the judge's chambers and being told not to fight in the courtroom. So you don't want to do that. But no, that was great, guys. Again, I loved how creative Mr. Prosecutor was with the facts. Something we never heard of. You brought in like elements of money, bills, and so I was just trying to think in the Canadian Criminal Code what that would be. And on the top of my head, I'll just say theft, right? So like you stole something from someone, that's theft. But then what I liked what the defense attorney did in that you said, now you brought up a contract, right? And now you're saying that the contract wasn't fulfilled. So that's why the money wasn't given back to the proper owner. So I'm gonna say Mr. Defense won that because that was excellent. That was that created a lot of doubt. Now I know there's a contract. So you know what I'm gonna do as a judge? I'm gonna say, Mr. Defense Attorney, you have an hour. Can you go give me the contract and present it as evidence? So you really created that scenario for me and gave a lot of doubt. And so, but again, guys, you both did a great job.
Okay, well done. Excellent. Okay, Ishmael. So Ishmael, you're the prosecutor and Felix will be the defense. Okay, Ishmael, can you think of something? And Ishmael will be the defense. Sorry, Felix will be the defense. So Ishmael,
Okay.
give us a scenario. Get the judge to convict.
1 month ago, I was returning home walking with my friend. Mr. Darrell, he ran me over with his car. My friend saw that he had a beer in hand. For that is possible, okay, he was drunk. And it's all.
Hey, Felix, DUI, driving under the influence.
Mm-hmm.
Get me off,
Well,
please.
do you remember if there was anyone else in the car? Because it is very rare that people are driving under the influence. So maybe there were other people in the car who were drinking and the driver was just holding the beer for that person. So it's not complete evidence that the driver was drunk just because he was holding a beer. to be sure of this, you'd need a blood sample or maybe another eyewitness watching him actually drinking this beer. So I would, yeah, I would call it a reasonable doubt that, yeah, it's not beyond reasonable doubt that the driver was actually sober, even if he was holding a beer.
Okay, thank you. Well, that was well presented, both of you guys. So some of the things I liked, Mr. Prosecutor, I like the scenario. You were very creative, right? And impaired driving, we call it. So it's a very, very common offense. I've prosecuted that.
No, it's not, Your Honor.
But what I liked about that is, so what we would call that, if the person was impaired and then ran someone over, that's called impaired driving causing bodily harm. Okay, bodily harm. And so basically, and how it works, so in Canada anyway, so if someone was suspected of drinking and driving, the police would pull them over, and what they would do, they had to blow into a machine. So they blow into the machine and a ticket pulls out of the machine. And so it's very, very easy as a prosecutor to present. You just have to give the ticket to the judge and said, look, that's what the machine printed out. So it's very, very easy to prosecute. Probably one of the easiest things to prosecute because the machine does all the presents the evidence, right? And unless the machine is not working, you know, people get convicted. So so that's a great one as a prosecutor to actually, your instincts were right to create that scenario because it's a very easy scenario for the prosecution to win. What I liked about the defense, what you did, which a lot of defense counsel do, and I haven't seen anyone else do that. What you did is you well, obviously you use the correct term, beyond a reasonable doubt, right? So defense attorneys want to say, look, Your Honor, the prosecutor failed to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's the key phrase that a defense attorney would use. So that was excellent on your behalf in that. Another thing you did was you questioned the identity. So is Darrell even the right person? Maybe it was someone who looked like Darrell. We don't know. So that was good that you brought that up. But you didn't give me. You said, "Oh, maybe he wasn't drunk. Maybe," but I didn't get enough detail. Like, tell me why. What, you know? Actually, I'm just being hard on you. So I'm gonna give it to Mr. Prosecutor.
Okay, well done, Ishmael. Okay, guys, so we're going to finish up with something fun. So each one of you will be the defense. So everyone's going to speak. You're going to be the defense lawyer. Felix is the prosecutor, okay? So Felix is going to give us a scenario, and you have to defend it, whether you like it or not, whatever Felix says. You might agree with Felix, but you work for me and you have to defend whatever Felix is going to say. It might be indefensible, but you still have to do your job. You have to defend it. Okay, so Brian, Martin, Amparo, Mariana, Andrea, Leah, Ishmael, Jimena, you're all going to try and defend whatever Felix says. You guys are the defense, and Felix is prosecuting for the state. Okay, Felix, what's the indefensible scenario you have?
Well, I have a case here against Darrell Reynolds. He has been in a pub pushing someone over the edge of the hostel where he's in. And we have several eyewitnesses that watched him do this. So he was a bit drunk. I don't know if he even remembers because he was stumbling while he did this. But he actually was in a fight in the pub beforehand with this person. And later on that night, he encountered this person outside in the hostel on the top floor, on the terrace. And there he actually just pushed this person over the edge. So I would prefer, Your Honor, to sentence him to the full extent of the law.
Okay. So there you go, guys. A summary. So I have pushed someone from the top floor onto the ground. That person could be dead. That person could be severely injured. I don't know. So as Felix has outlined, I'm very drunk. I was stumbling. I don't know what I'm doing, but there's several eyewitnesses who've seen me actually push this person. But you guys have to defend me. Okay, let's start with Brian. Get me out of this predicament, please.
Oh, okay. Mr. Darrell is innocent because it was a party. All of the people was drunk, and the person who fell down of the floor, he was playing of the how can I say it, I'm sorry, I forgot the word in Spanish too. Well, he fell down. It was a accident because his friend Darrell push or pull him, and he accident pulled the other people, and that pulled the other person, and that person fell down over the floor. It was an accident. It wasn't with action. Él no quiso hacerlo por él mismo. I don't know how can I say it, but it was an accident, Jude.
Okay. Next, Martin.
Okay. I'm completely disagree with this testimony because Darrell was drunk, and the other person wants stealing his belongings, such as her cap, her headphones, and his gold ring. And Darrell was attacked in self-defense, pushed the other person in self-defense. And that's it. Darrell is innocent.
Okay. And Amparo, you next defend me. Amparo, can I hear you? Amparo, your mic.
Your Honor, I have to say that my client is totally innocent because he was in the pub. He was so funny, so hilarious. He was dancing, but in that moment, he was dancing, and he accidentally had pushed his friend because he was dancing, and I think I think wasn't intentional, because he is a good guy, and there are a lot of witnesses, eyewitnesses, and they said that everybody was dancing in that place, and that person suddenly had death because just it was just an accident.
Okay. Mariana?
Yeah, okay. Um, uh, uh, Initially, the person think the general purpose a propósito, how say a propósito con intención.
It wasn't done with intention, unintentional.
And that Darrell was unintentional, but all was accident because Darrell so confused for the situations and how and so Darrell.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. So Darrell think that he is bad or that person is how is it? That person is that person want hurt Darrell, but Darrell only defends him.
Self-defense.
That's all. I'm sorry. I don't.
Okay, that's right. So you wanted to say self-defense. Self-defense. Okay, good, Mariana. Andrea, your turn.
Okay, I have to defend, no?
Mhm.
Okay, my client was dancing and celebrate that his team win, and he was so happy, and he consumed a little bit beverage, and suddenly the other person has have has a problem with him in the past, and he recognizing his face because he lost he ¿cómo se dice quitar?
Kita. And he held Martin Kita. Do you know what that means? I forgot.
He stole his girlfriend. His girlfriend preferred to go with Darrell, and he hate him, and he start to attack him. And he is completely innocent because he confused. It's all.
Okay, good. And Leah, your turn.
Okay. Darrell has a twin brother. Maybe there was a confusion. um, and when all this happened, Darrell was with his girlfriend outside the pub. I have videos here as a proof. Um, I give you to show all. He's innocent. Thank you.
Okay, good. Ishmael, your turn, please.
Hello, I don't understand the question. I don't hear. Sorry.
So you have to defend the situation Felix gave us. I pushed someone over a building, and there are several witnesses to prove I actually did it. And I was very drunk. So you have to defend me.
I don't understand.
Okay, okay, well, I'll explain later. We need to wrap this up. Okay, Jimena, could you please defend? Jimena, can you speak louder? We can't hear you, or closer to the mic.
Oh, okay. The first, my client is very sorry since he's a good person. He never had this type of situation, but it was an accident because this person, the victim, was bothering during the party. As you can see, the cameras can show the provocation from this person throughout the party. As like self-defense, my client did this bad action, but he was innocent because for self-defense, it was an accident, but this person, as you can see, he was bothering him, and that's both person. Sorry.
Okay, well done, Jimena. Okay, Ishmael, I've just sent you a translation in Spanish, so hopefully you understand that. Are you able to defend me now?
Sorry, in Spanish?
No, this is for Ishmael. I've just sent him a translation in Spanish because he didn't quite understand the scenario. Okay. So Ishmael, are you ready to present your defense?
No. Next, please.
Okay, don't worry. All right, so Lisa, so you've had the arguments from my defense team. Am I guilty or not? As the prosecution won, has Felix won his case?
Do you know what? I'm gonna say not guilty, you guys, because between all of you, I think there has been reasonable doubt. I'm just gonna highlight a couple things. I quite like Amparo, and there was somebody else. Oh, and Leah, because you guys created a lot of doubt. So Amparo, you gave me the situation where he was dancing, he was having a lot of fun. So that caused doubt into actually if the push was intentional. Maybe it was an accident, right? But you gave, and someone else then, I think Andrea said that he was dancing because he was celebrating. So that any kind of detail that you can give, the more detail you can give to create the story, the better. And then what I liked Leah did was that she added in the twin brother. So it made me laugh, but also it's a great, because you have to prove the identity. So now I have doubt. If Darrell does have a twin brother, then now there's doubt of, do we have the right person in custody? Is the right person on trial? And so between you all, you create enough doubt in my mind that you successfully represented Darrell. So you're great lawyers.
Excellent.
We got free meetings.
Yes, Felix, unlucky. Yeah, the prosecution tried, You couldn't prove anything
I
beyond
did my
that.
best.
No, excellent. Well done. Yeah, so guys, well done today. Excellent session from Lisa there. And hopefully, the whole point was Lisa, Felix, and I wanted to get you guys thinking off your feet, being creative. And yeah, because sometimes you'll be in situations where you need to think outside the box. So you can always think, in English anyway, of things that are already prepared in your mind. So that there are situations in life where you need to adapt, where you need to improvise. And that's the whole point of this role play exercise, because we didn't want to give you anything that you have a week to prepare and you're confident. We just want you guys to be thinking as fast as you can in English. And you guys did a great job. I'm proud of you, and I think Felix will echo the same words. Definitely, Lisa. I know she's reading something in the chat to everyone that you guys have done an excellent job so far. And you know, there might be some career change. You guys might have to be changing your jobs. Yeah, you guys might have to be the next big lawyers here in Bolivia. Definitely. Well done, everyone. Great job. Any words from you, Lisa, from today's session?
I just want to say I was really impressed with everyone, not only with your creativity. So you guys all did exactly what Daryl wanted you guys to do, right? Think on your feet. And I think you all did that. But I was really impressed with the vocab that you guys used. And I was really, but also like really impressed about how you guys had instincts, lawyer instincts. Like you guys did things that I didn't explain, and you did them really well. So I just gotta say, I'm so proud of everyone. You all did an excellent job, and it was really fun to be a part of it.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, if I don't ask this, I won't be doing my job very well. Man, Lisa, you've told us you're a comedian, so you gotta give us a joke. I'm sure the guys would love to listen to a joke.
I don't think my jokes would make sense because
it doesn't matter. Surprise us. You'll be surprised.
With a
okay. This is kind of a silly one. So I'll create a situation. So where I'm from is a very small town. Okay, very small town. So when I live in cities, when I move to other places in Canada, big cities, sometimes I'm culture shocked, right? So I'll just tell you this story. So my first weekend in Ottawa, I got invited to go dancing, right? And so I'm dancing and it's getting late. And my friend says to me, Lisa, do you want to get an Uber? And I said, no, I'll just have a rum and Coke. Thank you very much. See, Martin, back where I'm from, there's no such thing as Uber. You just jump in a cab and tell them your dad's name. So I don't know if you guys can understand that, but you guys know what Uber is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I moved away, it actually happened to me in San Francisco in the United States. I went from my little town to San Francisco, and someone asked me if I want to get an Uber, and I thought it was a drink that I could drink. An Uber. Oh, that sounds fun. I'll have that. But I didn't realize it was a taxi because I'm from a small town and I had never heard of it before. So.
Yeah, it's funny.
Excellent. Well, there you go, Lisa. Yeah, you were surprised. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. Felix, any parting words from you, please?
Well, I'm very proud of everyone. I think everyone is improving their pronunciation, and it's really fun to hear people speak a lot of people are developing their skills really well, and I'm really proud of everyone. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Lisa, and a big thank you for joining us today.
It was honestly my pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
Lisa.
much.
Yeah,
Thank
Lisa will be
you.
back in the future. I'm sure she'll love to come back. All right,
Yeah.
well done, guys.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, if you have any, before we close this up, if you have any questions for Lisa, anything about Canada or anything, this is the time to do it, or forever hold your peace. Anyone's got a question before we go?
Yeah, I have a question for Lisa, Daryl.
Okay, fire away.
Where is the province or the county where is the weather is warmer? Is because Canada is cold in general.
In the winter, it is for sure. It's really warm here right now. But so remember when I told you about the map of Canada, and I'm here. So I'm on the East Coast, closest to Europe. And I went to school in British Columbia in Vancouver. And that's on by the Pacific Ocean. California is just below, well, no, I think it's, oh my gosh, Washington and then California. But anyway, it's, and Vancouver is west coast and south. So that is the warmest temperature in Canada. They don't get winter like the rest of Canada does. They don't get snow, whereas the rest of Canada gets snow. We get a lot of snow here on the East Coast. So we're like New York, but that makes us hard. And, you know, so East Coast all the way. But no, if you want to visit Canada and you don't want to experience snow, then Vancouver would be your best bet.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Good advice.
Okay, excellent. All right, anyone else? Are we all good? All right.
I have a question.
Of course. Yes, please, Andrea.
In your country, how many members do criminal court? And if are unipersonal or have a major numbers of judges, jueces? Do you understand me or writing? I can write.
So I think that's if I can, I'll just try to paraphrase and correct me if I'm incorrect. But so you're asking me what challenges there are in the legal system?
In a court, in a tribunal court. Or how do you say? How many members do criminal court?
Okay.
And if are unipersonal or have a major number of judges?
Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, remember I just showed you that map of Canada. So every province, so the 10 provinces and the territories somewhat, there would be, like in Newfoundland, we don't have a lot of people here on the island, but we probably have 20 criminal courts. And that's every province. So there's a lot of courts in Canada, judges, again, there would be hundreds, because also in Canada it's a little bit complicated because we have provincial courts, right? But we also have federal courts because we're a confederation. Kind of complicated, but so all that means is we have a lot of courts. I don't know on top of my head how many that would be, but it would be a lot. And actually, right now I'm interviewing, so I might get a job as an investigator for the Correctional Service of Canada. So what I would have to do is that I would have to investigate prisoners' complaints. So say Darrell was arrested in Canada, and now he's complaining that something happened in jail that shouldn't have happened. Then I, as an investigator, would go in and make sure that the jail or anyone, the police, all of that, that they did their job correctly. So I may be transferring my career soon in order to do that, to make sure that prisoners are treated fairly.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
And Brian, I think you wanted to ask something.
Oh yeah, but it's about your other job, the comedy. You are comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. I wanna ask you, how is your work? Or because in our country we don't have a lot of comedies and we don't have a lot of theaters. It's a irregular job, I think. But I want to know how is on your country, in your country.
So honestly, what happens here is that Canadians, there's so many wonderful artists in Canada. I'm talking musicians, I'm talking stand-up comedians, actors, but something happens in Canada that's quite frustrating. What happens is people believe that you have to go to the United States of America in order to make it. So Canadian artists go down to the United States. So what happens in Canada is we lose our artists, right? But everyone has this idea that, oh my goodness, the American dream. And I'm really opposed to that because I think we need to keep our artists here in Canada. But there is a lot of talent. There's a lot of shows. You know, we really embrace the arts as Canadians, and that's how we tell our stories. And, you know, I think stand-up is kind of like a revolution. It could start a revolution. It's only when you get up on the stage and you talk about things that you don't agree with. So, for example, I might get up on stage and talk about how I don't agree with how Indigenous peoples are being treated in Canada. And it's a serious subject, but I'm gonna make people laugh, and that's what starts change. And that's what so I think comedy, yeah, it's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of power to it too. You know, it can really start a revolution. And and in Canada, we really embrace the arts. So in every small town in Canada, you can find a theater, right? So.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, good question there, Brian. Excellent question. All right, anyone else? Anything?
I have another question.
Of course, Andrea, yes, please.
In a common criminal proceeding, how many instances do penal sentence have for appeals? I send a message if you don't understand my pronunciation.
Okay, I think if I get what Andrea say, in criminal law, how many criminal proceedings have a conviction rate, like penal system? How many people get sent? How many people get sent to jail? Now, what's the rate?
Okay, yeah, no, that's an excellent question. Sorry, I think you were trying to ask that before. Sorry, and I didn't understand. That's an excellent question. In Canada, it's really hard to convict, actually. We always err on the side of caution. So if there, and basically what happened here in Newfoundland, where I am, there was in the 1990s, there were 3 men who were falsely convicted. So they went to jail, but they never did the crime. So what happened then was there was an inquiry. So what that, like, it had to be investigated. Why did these people go to jail if they didn't do it? And so now we're taught as prosecutors that we only bring something to court if we're 100% certain that the person did it. So if I had any doubt even before walking into court, I wouldn't bring the file. I'd throw it out. I think that's very different from what you see in the United States, where there are a lot more, they prosecute a lot more frequently. In Canada, we don't. I don't know what the rate is, the percentage, but we try our best to safeguard against imprisoning someone wrongfully. Wrongful imprisonment, it's called. But I'll tell you something. It's very unfair right now in Canada because our Indigenous population are incarcerated. I think it's like 70 times more than non-Indigenous people. So obviously there's a bias, you know, and that's infiltrated through the system, right? So, you know, the police officers oftentimes are racist towards Indigenous people, and then you get, you know, and it's just filtered throughout the system. And so they're arrested and prosecuted and convicted at a much higher rate than the rest of the country. And that's something I'm going to fight. So.
Excellent.
I have the last question, I guess.
Ximena,
Lisa,
please.
in your experience in your job, which was one of the most shocking cases that you have to live?
There's two that stand out. I mean, anytime that I had to do a child sexual assault, so making child pornography, if you guys know what that is, you know, that was always obviously heartbreaking, right? It was really hard to watch I'd have to watch the evidence of child pornography, and so that was very, very hard. But the most shocking, I think, case was there was a man who was about 30 years old, and he was in a relationship, in a sexual relationship with a woman or a child who was 15. And so the age of consent in Canada is 18. And so then that was the charge, right? It's called, sexual interference. So that's what the charge was. So anyway, I was prosecuting it, and the only piece of evidence that I had was the woman, so the child, the 15-year-old, had gotten pregnant, right? And then she had an abortion. Do you guys know what that means? An abortion? Yeah?
Yeah.
So what the police officers ended up doing for my evidence to present in court was they took the fetus of the abortion and they got DNA, and then they got DNA from the victim and then the accused, so the mother and the father of the fetus, and it was a paternity test. And so I actually had to present fetal matter, like an aborted fetus, as evidence that they were in a sexual relationship. So it was really gross and just kind of disturbing. And the thing that mostly disturbed me about it was, and they're still in a relationship, right? And so the victim wouldn't cooperate with me. So my victim, the one I was representing, was hostile towards me. So that was really hard. And then in Canada, to get a DNA test for a DNA, do you know what I'm talking about? DNA, forensic stuff. So in order to get DNA, a police officer can use any force necessary. Any force necessary. So my victim didn't want to give her DNA. right? Because she was no longer cooperating with the prosecution. So they put her in a straitjacket and they drew blood from her, which was obviously, it made me very, very angry at the police officers. And I made a police officer cry, actually, because I was very angry. But yeah, so very weird case.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, great question.
Thank
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Mariana, you have a question for Lisa before we leave?
I have a question that
Yeah, just wait. Let Mariana speak. We'll come back to you.
Lisa, whether you decide to study law, how is your inspiration for study now law?
No, that's a great question. So I think as a child, I was actually a child. So I'm from an island where the economy is fishing. I'm from a fishing community, fishing, right? And our fishery collapsed. So all of a sudden, everyone in my community stopped. Their livelihood was gone. They could no longer fish. They could no longer make money. So a lot of people became poor. And I became very passionate about my community, like helping my community. I was only 7 years old. I was only 7. And I became very passionate. And I started becoming very vocal. I started going to town meetings. So everybody knew that I was going to be a politician and a lawyer from a very, very young age. But me seeing injustice and wanting to protect my family, wanting to protect my community, made me want to be a lawyer since I was 7 years old. So it's something I always knew I would do. And, because I want to fight. I want to fight the fight.
Great question, though. Excellent question, Mariana. Okay, Martin, yeah, over to you.
Yeah, Lisa, where do you find ideas to your jokes, to tell jokes and improvise in different scenarios? I think the most difficult is connect with people, but you're doing very well.
Oh, well, thank you. And you know what, I did stand up for the first time 15 years ago, and but it was only in my province in Newfoundland, and we have a very unique culture and a very unique sense of humor. So when I lived in Montreal, Quebec, where they're French speaking, and then I lived in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I didn't do stand up for a while because I was afraid that people in other provinces of Canada wouldn't understand my humor, wouldn't understand my jokes, wouldn't understand me. So that stopped me from doing comedy. But when I was in Ottawa, Ontario, I was like, you know what? I'll never know if I don't do it. So I got on stage, and the only way you know what's going to work, what's not going to work, is that you have to do it. It's the only art form where you actually have to practice in front of live people. And so it's very nerve-wracking. It's very scary because you're putting yourself out there and you don't know if people are going to like you. And they don't always like you. So but what I started to do is I feed off my audience. So if I go to a gay club, it's really fun. I feel free. I'm probably swearing a lot. Like I'm probably like talking about sex a lot. But now if I go to a political event where there's elderly people, I'm probably not going to talk about sex, or I'm probably not going to swear. So you alter your jokes to your audience, right? And in terms of inspiration, I mean, 2020 has been, a shit show. It's been like, things happening right now are just like, what's going on in the world? that's my inspiration right now. You know, there's so many things I want to talk about and bring up and make fun of right now, like masks, people not wearing masks, you know, stuff like that. Like that's so my next set, I'm doing stand up in a couple weeks. I'll be talking about the pandemic, the coronavirus, like things like that that's happening around the world that we need to talk about.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, Lee. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Leah. Question for Lisa. Are you okay? Amparo.
No, Dara, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Thanks, Leah. Amparo, the last question from you to close up. Anything?
I don't have questions.
Okay, excellent. All right, so we'll call it a wrap. All right. Felix, anything from you, or you okay?
I'm sorry, I was in the chat.
Okay,
No,
question for Lisa, are you okay?
No, I have one question for Lisa.
Okay, go ahead.
What is your favorite team that are still standing in the playoffs?
That's a trick question, everyone, because before we started today, Felix told me that he's a Vancouver Canucks fan, and I told him I'm not usually a Vancouver fan, but they're the only Canadian hockey team left. So, so by default, I'm cheering for the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay, you're welcome into the fan club.
Okay. Oh my great. All right. Well, all right. Great session, everyone. Well done, everyone. Excellent work from everyone. And it's a big thank you to you, Lisa, from the depths of my heart. Thanks for coming in and helping us today. Excellent.
My pleasure.
You're great. Okay, guys. All right, guys. We'll see you next week, next Saturday, same time at 3 o'clock. And have a great weekend and rest of the week as well. Okay, guys. Adios. Ciao.
Okay.
Hasta luego.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Welcome,
everyone.
Take care.
Okay.
Hey, Daryl.
Martin, send me a message on WhatsApp. I don't have time. I have to teach in 2 minutes right now. Okay? Yeah. Let's speak on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Literally, I need to run to the toilet, then do another lesson.
Okay. It was a good session today. The text of Pokemon, about Pokemon, it was interesting for me because there was a lot of vocabulary in this.
Oh, yes. Loads in that. Yeah, don't. We'll try. We'll answer your vocab. Don't. I haven't forgot.
Yeah. Okay. This Monday I will pay for my.
Okay. Excellent.
Sorry, Daryl. Sorry, and thank you.
Don't worry. You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. No worries,
Okay.
Martin.
Hey, Felix, Daryl. See you next week.
All right.
Okay.
See you next week.
See you next
Thank
week.
you.
Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.